What do Jerry Seinfeld, David Lynch, and many other successful people all have in common? They all credit Transcendental Meditation, or TM, for helping them achieve life-changing levels of focus, energy, and creativity. And after all these years, I finally decided I want to learn it too. That is, until I saw that it costs nearly $1,000 to take an official TM class. And I just gotta be honest, I can't afford that. So I figured, why not see what I could learn on my own? And if a regular guy like me could experience any of those life-changing benefits from meditation. For 60 straight days, I learned and practiced a silent mantra-based meditation that has a lot in common with, but definitely isn't, Transcendental Meditation. Before we start, let's be real. I didn't do this for 60 days as some kind of stunt. I wanted to see if it works. Now, that doesn't make me an expert, but I have real experience that's worth sharing, especially if you're like me and you can't afford to take a $1,000 class. So let's get started. The basics of this meditation technique truly are simple. The first thing I do is set a 20-minute alarm on my phone, mostly so that I'm just not tempted to look at the clock while I'm meditating, and I sit in a comfortable place. You can do it just about anywhere. I saw an interview with Tom Hanks. He said he meditates in the back of a taxi. Next, close your eyes and give yourself a minute or two just to settle in. I usually take a few deep breaths and let them out very slowly. I can feel my body relax and my heart rate slow down. Now we move on to the core of this practice. Still keeping our eyes closed, we begin silently repeating the mantra in our mind. In Transcendental Meditation, the mantra is a secret given to you by an instructor. For this technique, the mantra doesn't have to be a secret at all. A good rule of thumb is to choose a word or a phrase that has no meaning. This way, when you're repeating the mantra in your mind, you're not thinking about what the purpose or the meaning of it is. In my case, I chose a 2-syllable word, Re-ah. I just like the way it sounds, and I especially like to let that second syllable linger in my mind, Re-ah. It's very relaxing for me. You're welcome to use that mantra or of course choose your own. If the one you choose isn't working for you after a few sessions, just pick another. Here's 3 things to keep in mind about the mantra. First, don't over-focus on it. I like to think of the mantra as a whisper on the wind, and it's quite windy today. And just like the wind, the mantra can get louder or softer, and it can repeat faster or slower. Second, don't worry about if you're repeating the mantra correctly. You already are. Trust me, after that first 20-minute session, it's already going to feel very natural. Third, when you realize your mind has wandered or you've lost the mantra completely, simply return to it. Your mind will wander, and that's perfectly normal. And that's it. That's all you need to get started. 2 things happened within those first few meditation sessions. The first was how the mantra would seem to take on a life of its own, like it was repeating itself without me actively doing it, almost like I was observing the mantra. Other times, I would lose the mantra for quite some time before I realized it and returned to repeating it. In both cases, I felt very relaxed and calm. The second experience was so impactful, it's what convinced me to commit to this meditation practice for the full 60 days. Sometimes during a session, my mind would become so relaxed, I would enter almost a dreamlike state. Now, I wasn't sleeping, but I wasn't fully awake either. And during that period, these random thoughts would bubble up, seemingly out of nowhere. They might be old memories or things that I haven't thought about in many years. And without exception, it felt very pleasant. Now, it might last only a minute or a few moments, but I can't express just how profound it felt. I mean, those are the kinds of things David Lynch would talk about. I never thought I would experience that through meditation. Despite the great success of those early meditation sessions, I struggled to consistently achieve that dreamlike state that was so pleasant. And the more I looked forward to it, the harder it was to achieve. And I know why. Unlike so many other aspects in life, meditation isn't something you get better at by trying harder. In some ways, you have to try less hard. Simply experience it without expectations. Now I know that's easier said than done. And I also had another problem too. On some days, despite my best efforts to just gently return to the mantra when my mind wandered, my active mind was just so full of thoughts. Thoughts about what I need to do later in the day or the anxieties that we all experience. I had already done my research and I knew it was normal for part or even an entire meditation session to be occupied by these kinds of thoughts. Maybe that's just what my mind needs to process right now. Better here while I'm meditating in a calm environment than later on when I'm trying to interact with someone or focus on something else. After a couple of weeks of daily meditation, I took a step back to reflect on my progress. Why was I even doing this in the first place? And I eventually came to a realization. Meditation is a gift, a 20-minute gift to myself, where I give myself permission to be fully present. Now, I know it sounds obvious, but like a lot of us, being present doesn't come naturally to me. And framing meditation as a gift was actually a powerful change in my mindset. And it led me to create 2 intentions, which I now think about before I start each session. The first intention is about permission. Meditation is a gift where I give myself permission to be fully present and take a break from my troubles. The second is about surrender. I welcome the rest if it comes, and I welcome the work if it doesn't. Simply being here is the gift. Giving myself permission to take a break from my troubles doesn't guarantee my active mind will rest, but it does happen more often now. And in those sessions where my mind just needs to work through some thoughts, that's okay too. I accept it. Before I share my biggest takeaways from this 60-day experiment, here's a few tips for beginners. I meditate once per day for 20 minutes, usually in the afternoon when I'm starting to feel a little sluggish. I know some folks say it's important to meditate twice per day, but really, if you can consistently find 20 minutes in your day to meditate, that's already a huge win. Distractions. Normally I'm at home in a chair, not in the forest like I am today, and at home there are distractions. So I'll turn on a white noise machine or a YouTube video, just play the sound of a gentle flowing stream, and that helps me deal with distractions. When the alarm goes off to end the meditation session, take a minute to sit quietly and reflect before jumping back into your day. So after 60 straight days, what were my biggest takeaways and my biggest surprise? Without question, I end every 20-minute session feeling more relaxed, clear-headed, and energized. And I have proof. Look, I'm in my mid-50s, and like a lot of us, I can get sluggish in the afternoon. And when my schedule allows it, I'll take a nap. But here's the thing, I didn't take a single nap for these 60 days. And trust me, I had opportunities. I just felt more energized, and I had more time for productivity. And that was my biggest surprise. And while I cherish those sessions where I reach that dreamlike state and experience those random thought bubbles, it's knowing that each session gives me more energy, a restful feeling, and more productivity later in the day that is the biggest benefit for me. And that's why I will continue to give myself the gift, the 20-minute gift of daily meditation.